All right, so this is the key to 14.1 Part C, and again, you want to simplify these rational expressions. So it's very similar to Part B, except this looks a little bit more complicated. Some of them is a little bit more involved. But again, the first thing you need to do is factor. You got to factor your numerator, factor the denominator. So if you look at this numerator, the GCF is 9x. I'm going to factor out the 9x. I get 9x times, and then I'm left with x plus 9. Okay. The denominator, I can factor out an x. So remember, always look for GCF. I can factor out an x, and so I get x times x squared plus 8x minus 9. But remember, when you factor these, this can still be factored probably. So you need to look to see if this trinomial can be factored further, and it can. All right, so you got to go further with the factoring. So you see in the previous problem, it was just straight factoring. That was the easy kind, just straight factoring. All right, see, straight factoring. Here, though, it's a little bit more involved. There's maybe one or two more steps you got to do. All right, so when I factor this trinomial, I'm going to get, let's see, I'm going to get 9, 1 plus minus x. All right, so that's what I get. So I get 9x times x plus 9 is how you factor this numerator, and then x times x plus 9 times x minus 1 is how you factor this denominator. And now reduce. So I now reduce. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this over so I don't put too much markings on here. And so when I do that, I get, let's see. All right, so you look at the first factor, you see the first factor I see is a 9. Well, 9, do you see a 9 occurring as a factor anywhere down here? No, because your factors, don't think this is a 9 as a factor, because your factors down here are x, the other factor is x plus 9. I didn't say 9, I said x plus 9, and then this is x minus 1. So can 9 be reduced with any factor down there? No. Your next factor is x. Does x occur as a factor in the denominator? Yeah, right here. So I can reduce that. So I'm going to put factors of 1s in their place. The next factor you see is x plus 9. Do you see x plus 9 occurring as a factor down there? Yes, right here. So I reduce those. I have 1s in their place as factors of 1. And so now all you have left is this. You have 9 times 1 times 1, which is 9. 1 times 1 times x minus 1 is x minus 1. And there's your answer. 9 divided by x minus 1. Number 2. Okay, number 2, again, look for GCF. The GCF here is 3. So I can factor out a 3. So I get 3 times r squared minus 13r plus 30, right? Divided by, and let's go ahead and factor this, the two binomials. That'll be r, 10, and 7. And this will be negative, this will be positive. All right, so I do get this. If you look at the outer is 7r, the inner is a negative 7r. I get negative 3r when I combine those. Now go back, just like we did here, you can factor further. All right, same thing here. So I'm going to get 3 times, let's see what we get. r, 30, and I need the middle to be negative 13r. So that's going to be 10, 3, and both negative. All right. And so the denominator is r minus 10 times r plus 7. All right, and so let's reduce. So the first step is to factor. So I factored, now I reduce. The first factor I see is a 3. Will 3 reduce with any factor down there? No. The next factor is r minus 10. Do you see an r minus 10 occurring as a factor? Yep, right here. So I can reduce those. Those divide out, you'll have factors of 1. r minus 3 is the next factor. Do you see r minus 3 occurring down there? Nope, so you're done. So the answer is 3 times 1 times r minus 3 is this. So leave it like this. Leave them as factors. Don't distribute. Just leave it like that. Divided by 1 times r plus 7 is r plus 7. And so there's your answer for that one. So it's 3 times r minus 3 divided by r plus 7. Okay? All right, number 3. Okay, number 3, you have, all right, now here, you see the 4 terms? You're going to do by grouping. You're going to factor by grouping. So let me go ahead and rewrite this over. And let's go ahead and factor this by grouping. So I'm going to group the first 2, the last 2. And the first 2, I can factor out an x. And so I get x times y plus 3. Over here, I can factor out a negative 2. Remember, you factor out that middle sign right here. And I get y plus 3 also, because a negative 2 times a positive 3 is a negative 6. Then you factor out the y plus 3, and you get x minus 2. So that's the numerator. So my numerator is this. So that's y plus 3 times x minus 2. The denominator, let's see what we get. We get y 3, 2 minus, plus minus. Okay? All right, so I factored. Next step is to reduce. Look at your first factor in the numerator, y plus 3. Do you see a factor y plus 3 in the denominator? Yep, right here. So I can reduce those. I get factors of 1. The next factor is x minus 2 now. Be careful, this is y minus 2. This is x minus 2. Do you see x minus 2 occurring as a factor down here? Nope. So you're done. So the answer is 1 times x minus 2 is x minus 2. 1 times y minus 2 is y minus 2. So there's your answer. X minus 2 times y minus 2. Okay, number 4. All right, so I'm going to factor both of those. The GCF in both cases is 1. So I'm going to go directly to the two binomials in both cases. And let's see what we get. All right, so 3x, x. I need the middle term to be 5x. And in order for that to happen, this would have to be 2. And this would have to be 1. And this is positive, this is negative. All right, down here, 7x, x. All right, so let's say I would need a negative 4 and a positive 12x. So that, in order for that to happen, this would have to be, let's try 2 and 2. So that is 14x, 2x. Okay, so that's going to work. So that's going to be plus and minus. And let's double check. The outer is 14x. The inner is a negative 2x. When I add them up, I get positive 12x. And a negative 2 times a positive 2 is a negative 4. Okay? So I factored correctly. Now let's reduce. The first factor you see is 3x minus 1. Does 3x minus 1 occur as a factor in the denominator? No. So I can't reduce that. That stays. The next factor is x plus 2. Does x plus 2 occur as a factor in the denominator? Yep, right here. So I can reduce those. Because anything divided by itself is 1, right? And so therefore you're left with 3x minus 1 times 1 is 3x minus 1. And 7x minus 2 times 1 is 7x minus 2. And there's your answer. So 3x minus 1 divided by 7x minus 2. Okay? All right, so that's going to take care of the key to part C.